Okay, one of the features of the Pureform methodology is to try to look for long shot winners and also to focus on races where the favourites look quite beatable. So here we have a race at Gatton, ran on the 22nd of November. It was a Thursday from memory, and this is a 2,000 metre race. Now again, we don't normally look at distance races, and this is again just an example. 288 starts. It's a soft 6 track, so in other words it's not what you would call ideal in terms of looking for a standout wager. So basically it's a race where you'd like to be doing a market if you can. Now again, one of the features of doing markets is to have the favourites, as it is here. 3 and 4 are the shorties, followed by the 9 I suppose. So if we have a look at their form very quickly, we'll find that Kira Beat has had 27 starts for 2 wins only and a number of placings. So again, this is the sort of horse you don't want to be backing when it's only got 2 wins and 10 other placings. We'll have a look at its recent starts, so that's not exactly what you would call exemplary, having ran second of 4. So in other words, it managed to beat 2 horses. So that's not what you would call brilliant form, certainly not from my viewpoint. It was a 52 class last time, and it's a 52 again. It had 55 and it's gone down to 54.5 thanks to the 3 kilo claim. So looking at this horse, certainly you wouldn't be rushing to back it. Its previous 2 runs were at CFTN, I'm not sure where that is even. Prior to that at Wand, which is probably Wandon, but who can be sure. So anyway, that's one of the favourites. The other one, Temujin's Rule, has basically run again at Toowoomba and run second of 9 over 1640, so it's up 360 metres. It was a 53 last time, it's down to a 52. It had 54.5, but it's gone up to 57.5, so in other words it's worse off with the weights and up in distance, which is not necessarily going to suit, although it did win at least at the Gold Coast over 1800 in 56 class, so it's about the same in that race as what it was then. So this one's got some chance of winning, however it could easily not win. So this is a great example of a race where you could do a market. And having a look at the market very quickly, Kira's Beat is on top, the one that ran second last start of 4. So you'd hardly be rushing to get onto it at $4.90, or in fact $3.50 on the TAB. After that's Hessian. Let's have a quick look at Hessian. Ran third of 4 at Toowoomba. So basically it ran in the same race. So the same features apply to Hessian as to the favourite. You really wouldn't be rushing to get on it with any certainty, although it has won a race at Gatton before over 1600, coming from last. So it has some credentials for running a distance race. It did win at Warwick over 2,000 metres on a soft 6, so it has got some comparative form. So this is some sort of chance Hessian, and it's an over, so in other words we can take that one. Empress Zhao was the one that won that race last time, and we can have a look at the comparisons here. Here are the 3 horses that ran against each other last time. Kira's beat Emperor Zhao by 1.1 kilos, and Hessian is a fair way behind them in terms of figures. Small fields where there's only 4 runners really can't make any conclusions out of the race at all. So in this case the comparisons are probably of limited value, but again, based on this, Kira's Beat should have beaten the others. That's Emperor Zhao. Also an over, just as good a chance of winning as Kira's Beat really, based on what we have there. 2 for the road is racing okay, ran in a 56 last time and is slightly up at the weights. What's the next one? Rardane. Rardane has been racing at fairly weak tracks, although the Ballina run's not too bad, but it's gone to Stan after that, and then Cumb after that. So it doesn't really have any form over 2,000 metres, so you would think this one looks decidedly risky, and so on. So from a market viewpoint, we'll just leave the market stand as it is. We probably could discount these horses running in that last start Toowoomba 4-horse race, since 3 of the 4 are in this race, which is interesting. And looking at it, we could bet to collect $100. Let's have a look at the race. Here's the race.
Memorial Trophy. Over 2,000. Curious beat the favourite, drawn gate number 3. Away and racing now. Now, Tisabee was a little bit slow to go. Curious Beat shows speed from towards the inside with 2 for the road. Temujin's Rule, and Rardane comes flying across from the outside with General Assault pushing through in the centre. Hessian opts to take a sit just in behind that leading group of runners from Empress Hour, who slots in 1 off the fence. Then came Show a Flick, and Tisabee is last, but no more than 3 lengths off the leader. Running out of the straight now, a mile left to run, and 2 for the road. Boots through, uses the rails to his advantage to lead. General Temujin's Rule ridden along out wide. Then came 2 for the road from Show a Flick, who's peeling very wide. Hessian shown the cane, and last of all was Tisabee. Up towards the 400 metre mark now, and Empress Hour raced up and took the lead from General Assault. Temujin's Rule just in behind them. Oh, there's a fall. One's fallen. There might be Kira's Beat. Looks to get up all right. We'll get some news through on that. Out in front is Empress Hour, 200 to run. He leads a couple of lengths. General Assault, Show a Flick at Big Oz starting to run on. Out in front is Empress Hour. Show a Flick, a boil over coming at it. Show a Flick goes to Empress Hour. They hit the line. Show a Flick gets up to defeat Empress Hour. General Assault will be third.
Well, there you have it. The race was marred somewhat by a fall. Unfortunately, that's racing, so we can't be concerned about that. So the favourite fell. We really won't know what happened in that way, but needless to say, Show a Flick has managed to win at the rather long odds of $97 on the Unitab and more like $150 on Betfair. So if we were going to bet on this race for $100, we would have had $5.90 on Show a Flick, and at the $97, that's almost a $600 collect. So the thing about horse racing is you can have some great results on races that you least expect to win on. That's the first thing. The second thing is that quite often an over will come in a race where you least expect it. The other thing too, looking at it from a benchmark viewpoint, looking at the benchmark figures, sorting highest to lowest, Show a Flick, 9-year-old gelding, but again it doesn't matter about the age of the horses these days. They seem to be racing well up to any age, but admittedly the last 3 starts are pretty poor. We'll look at that in a second. Minus 14 on the benchmark weight change. So again, the system quite often will highlight the horses that are going to run well. What you have to do is be able to interpret those signals, for want of another term, before the race runs. If we have a look at Show a Flick's form very quickly, basically it has shown a bit of a liking for a wet track. It did run 4th of 10 over 1600 in a Class 1 50, so it's up a couple on that. So on a soft 6, then went to a firm 2. The thing with firm 2 races is they quite often can take the absolute stuffing out of a horse, and so it may not perform well after that, being so hard. It's then run a couple of reasonable races. Well, ran one reasonable race at the Sunshine Coast, then basically knocked up again from wide barriers. First up, it ran pretty bad, getting out to last and staying there on a soft track. Then it's run last over 1400. The last run is really the disappointing run in a 56. So it was slightly down in class, 56 down to 52. But have a look at the weight How does this horse get into a race with 59 kilos with such a poor record? 36 stars for 1 win. So anyway, needless to say, you wouldn't be rushing to put your last 50 cents on this race. That is the whole idea with market punting. And you can just consider the last time you had 150 to 1 winner. And the other thing too is that this kind of race can really make a big difference to your punting bottom line. The other negative factor is overs punting. Quite often the horses just do not perform, and then you'll have a race like this where you'll have a huge result. It's very easy to miss this kind of race. So for overs punting, you have to come up with a strategy, and then you have to follow that strategy and run it on every race. Okay, that's about it for this video.